Hello, my name is Baron Imagino Umphris. You may call me Baron Imagino, or if you want to call me something that resembles a regular name, Gino. And welcome to another vlog uh, by me. So, as you can see here, I have moved into a new place. So, yeah. And as much as I do not want to use my computer's webcam, I have to because this right here, my other camera, which you probably would have been able to see from the side of my screen anyway, that is currently recharging. So maybe next vlog I will be able to create something that will be edited for brevity and all that. And I have a new hat, which I got at the Victoria's Theme Expo, which I'm going to guess most of you probably didn't know about, either because you don't live in Victoria, or have never been to Victoria, or never really met me, or makes nothing. So the purpose of this vlog, because I have been delaying it for about a week or two, is for me to talk about a couple of movies that I watched over the summer that I didn't like. Well, one of them I saw during the summer, and the other more recently. So, let's get started. The first movie I want to talk about first would be one of those new films called Much Ado About Nothing, which, if you don't know anything about the original Shakespearean play, then you probably wouldn't know what the plot of the movie is. So yeah, spoilers. So the movie is pretty much the same thing as the Shakespearean play, except that, well, takes place in modern times. Which brings me to my first problem without even watching it. It's just like that Leonardo DiCaprio movie about Romeo and Juliet. It takes place in modern times, but the dialogue doesn't change, which of course would have obvious goofy things, such as calling guns swords, and in the particular case of Much Ado About Nothing, it ends up giving people titles, even though presumably it takes place in North America, unless it's Austria, but then everyone's speaking English, and yeah, I pretty much summed up one of the major problems. And another problem that I have with the movie, partly because it is a modern adaptation onto film, is that I can't really relate to any of the characters, most particularly Benedict. I will explain why. Part of it has to do with the Shakespearean language, which, yeah, much different from modern English. Whatever, I can get used to that, but then there is that one scene, the wedding scene, where Benedict and his bride are supposed to get married, but he leaves what's her name at the altar. I know that she has a name. It's one of the more Hero. That's her name. I believe. Yeah, I think it's Hero. It's been bothering me for quite a while. Anyway, so he leaves Hero at the altar because supposedly he and two of his friends supposedly saw Hero screwing another guy, even though that's not really the case. It was some jealous guy's plot or something to ruin the wedding by having his minion screw with a maid, and the point is they only saw the shadows, and when people make assumptions, they make asses of you and me and themselves and everyone practically. So yeah, and I can understand how Benedict would want to leave Hero at the altar because he thought that Hero cheated on him, but then here's where the dialogue gets in the way, and the problem with not modernizing the dialogue. He said, rather than saying that he's leaving Hero at the altar because she cheated on him, he says that he doesn't want to marry a woman who is not a virgin. I can probably guess right about now that the movie would have taken place somewhere in one of those Republican-ruled states in the U.S., like Texas or Mississippi or Missouri, or any of the other states, Virginia maybe, I don't know. And part of it has to do with, and my problem with him saying that he wants to only to marry a virgin, and only a virgin for his wife, my problem with that is, one, Benedict, this is 2013. You're not going to find very many virgin people to get to meet, much less get married. And two, even if you want to get married to someone who is a virgin, you're not supposed to say it explicitly. Or else, pardon my language, or else it will make you look like a dick. Even the Republicans knew that. And Republicans are all about saying, don't do it before getting married and all that jazz, which, fine, but good luck with that. And yes, there is some slapstick comedy, but it wasn't to my liking, and I'm pretty sure that there are other people who would enjoy Much Ado About Nothing, but I myself wouldn't recommend anyone to watch it unless they know exactly unless they have studied or read or watched the original play and as such know exactly what's going on. So now the other movie, which I guess has a lot of fans. And yeah, I know that I'm going to upset a lot of fans by saying this, but the other movie that I actually saw during the summer with my twin brother that I hated was Pacific Rim. So, allow me to explain what I was expecting when I saw Pacific Rim. So, when I walked in, I read some reviews on DeviantArt and some other places on the internet where some people say that it's not that it's more of a mindless movie, and it's something to off your brain because when you watch a Jackie Chan movie, you only want to see Jackie Chan do awesome stuff, not for the character development. That I can accept, but what Pacific Rim is about, it is essentially it is a movie that's sort of a love letter, I guess, to mecha anime. And I myself am a sucker for giant mechs. Heck, I have sat through Neon Genesis Evangelion, which of course the action is awesome, but the ending just, there is so much that I do not like about the ending of Neon Genesis Evangelion. But anyway, a bit of what I know about mecha anime. Mecha anime became popularized because of an anime called Gundam, and a bit of a warning, I did not really do any research, and since this is an informal vlog, I am not really going to post anything related to research, such as a bibliography and all that, because, well, again, I didn't do any research. I'm doing what I heard by word of mouth. So mecha anime, as we know it, started off with a show called Gundam, which did not really get popularized immediately, but then people started to appreciate it later on, and it grew a fandom because unlike most other anime, it wasn't really about the action so much as, well, actually it's partly about the action, but it's all balanced out with the drama off the battlefield. I can't remember who wrote the 7 Deadly Sins of Writing that I learned about during my writing courses at UVic, but I believe that one of those deadly sins was to write a war drama, and part of the reason why war dramas are advised to be written against is because war dramas are typically mindless. It's all about action 1, 2, 3, and there isn't really much to do with character, which is a big thing in modern literature. The beauty about modern mecha anime is that it's about action and character. So with action and character, you can have all the good stuff, such as watching giant mechs punching alien monsters, while you still get the deep character development in order for it to be a quality story. Pacific Rim failed with the character department. It's a complete mindless war drama, and people would say, oh, well, of course it's supposed to be mindless. You're supposed to watch it for the action. The action scenes, while they're good, are too far and few between. And yes, when you watch a Jackie Chan movie, you want to see Jackie Chan kick people's butts and all that, but you still want the supporting characters to have proper motivations and all that, and you also want Jackie Chan to have his motivations to do whatever and all that. For example, Operation Condor. His primary focus was to was to look for treasure, I believe, and even the supporting characters were developed enough to be a good story, such as how one of the women, her father apparently was one of the people who buried the treasure in some sort of complex tomb place and all that, and yeah. Pacific Rim is one of the biggest disappointments because, one, it was directed by Guillermo del Toro. Didn't really watch any of his movies, but I have seen a little bit of Labyrinth, and it was good. As such, I'm not really going to place the blame on Guillermo del Toro so much as the other person who wrote the script. And based on my search on IMDb, he apparently also wrote the script for Clash of the Titans and a few other movies which mostly weren't that good. I myself never watched Clash of the Titans, but from what I understand, it's not really all that good anyway. So anyway, back on track. Pacific Rim. All the characters are not just two-dimensional; they're one-dimensional. Except for probably Mako, the only character whose name I actually memorized, and that's partly because I got to understand what her childhood trauma is, and that's it. Aside from that, she only serves as the protagonist's love interest. And speaking of the protagonist, Hollywood, what makes you think that young adult male actors are inherently charismatic? He had no charisma on screen, and fan service for the ladies in the audience. No, that's not charisma. That's just fan service. And the scientist. I know that I'm not really getting into anything, but again, this is an informal vlog, and if I actually wrote a script, I would have it more structured. So those scientists, especially that one who's annoying and makes that kaiju fanatic. I have never encountered a character who annoys me so much that I really wanted to yell in the theater, "Shut up! Shut your pie hole! Just shut up! I don't want to hear your voice again!" And I think that he had almost as much screen time as the main protagonist. So yeah, the characters, there's pretty much no drama, and they actually had a good premise, where as opposed to most backup anime, in Pacific Rim, you need few pilots to operate a mech, and in order for them to operate a mech, they need two pilots in order to share the neural load, because the mechs are apparently based on the kaiju, who are something like a hive mind, I guess. And well, because kaijus have two brains, so you need two pilots for the left and right hemisphere to share the neural load, and yeah, and with the with the fact that they have to access each other's memories and share, they automatically know each other and all that, and that right there is gold mine, a prime gold mine for drama, because people are forced to share their deepest thoughts and memories to their co-pilots, and as such, that right there would be the prime source for the drama, because what if there's something that you do not want to know, or you don't want other people to share, well, what you don't want to share to other people, such as what you think of other people, what you think of humanity, and if I dare say it, if you have a crush on people who they wouldn't even know about, and who the crush wouldn't even know about, or if I can go even further, what if one of those pilots was secretly in the closet? Of course, they would have had screening processes and all that, but if Fullmetal Alchemist has shown with one of the villains, people can lie and bypass the screening process in order to get the jobs that they wanted. So yeah, that right there would be. So with some of these examples, you pretty much have the main source for character-to-character conflict, and perhaps even have fuel for commentary about humanity and all that. But no, none of it has actually been used, because it's a movie. I would call BS on that, because there's a thing called density of expression, where essentially you have to try to put in as much information with as few words and with as little time as possible. Franz Kafka was famous for density of expression, and with how the script was, it was a big disappointment, because most of it was hollow. I left the theater not really gaining any deeper insight, other than the fact that they got the left and right hemisphere mechanics wrong. When you have the left hemisphere controls the right side of the body, and the right hemisphere controls the left side of the body. I should have expected something like this from the same industry where they believe that this in a Roman Colosseum means sorry, poster fell. Anyway, we're talking about the same industry who think that doing this in a Roman Colosseum means let them live, and this would mean let them die, even though anyone who has taken at least elementary school archaeology would know that this means drop the blade, meaning let the competitor live, and this means stick the blade up the chest, which means kill him or finish him in Mortal Kombat terms. So yeah, I hated Pacific Rim, and mostly because the people who made the film did not take advantage of the gold mine with the premise. Do you want to know who was able to create an interesting premise and actually do something with that premise? Atlas with their Shin Megami Tensei series, most particularly, as far as I know, the Persona series, most particularly Persona 4, which I have seen some Let's Plays, and yeah, based on what I've seen, I really enjoy Persona 4 because a lot of it is based on Jungian psychology, which is almost something that was created a little bit later than Freudian psychoanalytic psychology, but created by a psychiatrist and one of Freud's peers, Jung. I can't remember his first name though, but anyway, concepts like the shadow, that is a term that Jung used to describe our deepest, darkest secrets and inner manifestations that we have to get over in order to become better people. And in Persona, shadows are enemies. You beat them in order to save people from getting killed, and to help people gain persona powers. So yeah. And there's also the term persona itself, which is essentially something like a mask that people would wear in different circumstances in social situations. For example, my persona for the internet practically is Baron Imagino Umphris, and my real name, you're never going to know that, or at least not with me giving it out knowingly, because, well, that's a different persona altogether. But getting back on topic, I did not enjoy. So in conclusion, I did not really enjoy Much Ado About Nothing too much, mostly because, well, I just don't. It's taking Shakespearean dialogue and applying it to a modern day setting on film. And yeah, I found it rather clunky for an adaptation. Excuse me. And I hated Pacific Rim. Which, let's say it again, they had an interesting premise, but they never took advantage of it. Now, if you will excuse me, I should probably go to bed. It's past midnight. Good night, everyone.